Yamunatiravanachari Yamunatiravanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Jashodanandana Braja Janaranjana Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana Yamunatiravanachari Yamunatiravanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare जय प्रभुपदा 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 जय प्रभुपदा निताय गौर हरि बोल हरि बोल निताय गौर हरि बोल। जय ओम विष्णुपाद परमहंस पुरुषाचार्य स्तोत्र सदिश डिवाइन ग्रेस अभजनारविंद भक्तिवेदांत स्वामी श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय ओम विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिवजकाचार्य स्तोत्र सदिश डिवाइन ग्रेस भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती ठाकुर श्रील प्रभुपाद की नामाचार्य शहरदास ठाकुर की ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे। All glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories, all glories, all glories to Sri Guru and Sri Gauranga. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Daivim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudirayet Nashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavad Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya Cha Nanda Gopakumaraya Govindaya Namo Namaha. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3, Chapter 6, Text 30. Mukhato vartata brahma puruṣasya kuru-udvaha yas tūnmukhatvād varṇānāṁ mukhyo abhūt brāhmaṇo guruḥ mukhato vartata brahma mukhato vartata brahma puruṣasya kuru-udvaha puruṣasya kuru-udvaha yas tūnmukhatvād varṇānāṁ yas tūnmukhatvād varṇānām mukhyo bhūd brāhmaṇo guruḥ mukhyo bhūd brāhmaṇo guruḥ mukhato vartata brahma puruṣasya kuru-udvaha yas tūnmukhatvād varṇānām mukhyo bhūd brāhmaṇo guruḥ mukhato vartata brahma puruṣasya kuru-udvaha yas tūnmukhatvād varṇānām mukhyo bhūd brāhmaṇo guruḥ. Please chant. Yas tūnmukhatvād varṇānām mukhato vartata brahma puruṣasya kuru-udvaha yas tūnmukhatvād varṇānām mukhato vartata brahma puruṣasya kuru-udvaha. Tūnmukhatvād varṇānāṁ. Mukhyo bhūd brahma. Matajis. Okay, please repeat after me. Mukhataḥ, from the mouth. Avartata, generated. Brahma, the Vedic wisdom. Puruṣasya, of the virāṭ-puruṣa, the gigantic form. Kuru-udvaha, the chief of the Kuru dynasty. Yaha, who are. Tu, due to. Unmukhatvād, inclined to. Varṇānāṁ, of the orders of society. Mukhyaḥ, the chief. Abhūt, so became. Brāhmaṇaḥ, called the brahmanas. Guruḥ, the recognized teacher or spiritual master. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki. Yeah. Translation. O chief of the Kuru dynasty, the Vedic wisdom became manifested from the mouth of the Virāṭ, the gigantic form. Those who are inclined to this Vedic knowledge are called brahmanas, and they are the natural leaders, natural teachers and spiritual masters of all the orders of society. Purport. As confirmed in Bhagavad-gītā 4.13, the four orders of human society developed with the order of the body of the gigantic form. The bodily divisions are the mouth, arms, waist and legs. Those who are situated on the mouth are called brahmanas. Those who are situated on the arms are called kshatriyas. And those who are situated on the waist are called vaishyas. Those who are situated on the legs are called shudras. Everyone is situated in the body of the Supreme in his gigantic viśva-rūpa form. In terms of the four orders, therefore, no caste is to be considered degraded because of being situated on a particular part of the body. In our own bodies, we do not show any actual difference in our treatment towards the hands or legs. Each and every part of the body is important, although the mouth is the most important of the body parts. If other parts are cut off from the body, a man can continue his life. But if the mouth is cut off, one cannot live. Therefore, this most important part of the body is called the sitting place of the brahmanas, who are inclined to the Vedic wisdom. One who is not inclined to the Vedic wisdom, but to mundane affairs, cannot be called a brahmana, even if he is born of a brahmana family or father. To have a brahmana father does not qualify one as a brahmana. The main qualification of a brahmana is to be inclined to the Vedic wisdom. The Vedas are situated on the mouth of the Lord, and therefore anyone who is inclined to the Vedic wisdom is certainly situated on the mouth of the Lord, and he is a brahmana. This inclination towards Vedic wisdom is not restricted to any particular caste or community. Anyone from any family, from any part of the world may become inclined to the Vedic wisdom, and that will qualify him as a real brahmana. A real brahmana is the natural teacher or spiritual master. Unless one has Vedic knowledge, one cannot become a spiritual master. The perfect knowledge of the Vedas is to know the Lord, the personality of Godhead, and that is the end of the Vedic knowledge or Vedanta. One who is situated in the impersonal Brahman and has no information of the Supreme Personality of Godhead may become a Brahmana, but cannot become a spiritual master. It is said in the Padma Puran, Satkarma nipuno vipro mantra tantra visharda avaishnavo guru nyasad vaishnavo swapacho guru. An impersonalist can become a qualified Brahmana, but he cannot become a spiritual master unless and until he is promoted to the stage of a Vaishnava or a devotee of the personality of Godhead. Lord Chaitanya, the great authority of Vedic wisdom in the modern age, stated, Kiba vipra kiba nyasi shudra ke naya ye Krishna tattva veta se guru hoya. A person may be a Brahmana or a Shudra or a sannyasi, but if he happens to be well versed in the science of Krishna, then he is fit to become a spiritual master. The qualification then of a spiritual master is not to be a qualified Brahmana, but to be well versed in the science of Krishna. One who is conversant with Vedic wisdom is a Brahmana, and only a Brahmana who is a pure Vaishnava and knows all the intricacies of the science of Krishna can become a spiritual master. Please repeat the translation after me. O chief of the Kuru dynasty, the Vedic wisdom became manifested from the mouth of the virāṭ, the gigantic form. Those who are inclined to this Vedic knowledge are called brāhmaṇas, and they are the natural teachers and spiritual masters of all the orders of society. Om Ajnanatimmirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhūtale Swayam Rupa Kada Mahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Utapadakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine He Krishna Karuda Sindho Deenabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanusute Devi Pranamami Haripriye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna. So we are going through Canto 3, Chapter 6, verse 30 of the Srimad Bhagavatam. Now, just to give a little brief summary of where we are at in the Bhagavatam. So this is, the chapter name is Creation of the Universal Form. Sometimes this, topics like universal form, topics like even 5th Canto of Bhagavatam, we find Vedic cosmology. They are such that our position is like a spider at the corner of the room who is also listening to the Shastra, but how much can he understand? In the same way, that is our situation, wherein we try to comprehend through our material senses, but how much can we understand through pratyaksha and anuman? So we accept the Shabda, we accept and understand that this is for our purification. One takeaway message from this section is that everything is the body of the Lord. This is something that Srila Prabhupada trained his disciples. You see the sun and moon, you see this as two eyes of the Supreme Lord. Krishna says in Bhagavad-gītā, in the same way, Rasoham Apsu Kaunteya, he says that I am the taste of water. So when you drink water, you remember Krishna. These are ways in which, at a neophyte stage, we are helped so that we can become Krishna conscious. Just a short summary of this chapter. The first 10 verses are a development of how this gigantic universal form takes place. And 11 to 26 is manifestation of the different demigods from the universal form, how different demigods come. And the 27 to 34 is development of the planets, living entities and varnas. So how the planets come about, living entities and varnas. So now this particular shloka is where the varna part starts. 35 to 40 is Maitreya Muni feels unworthy to describe the Lord's unlimited glories. So that's basically the short summary of this chapter. Now in this particular verse, Srila Prabhupada, this is in his purport, he is emphasizing a lot on the qualifications, the qualities of a brahmana, Vaishnava. Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, he had a debate, it is a very famous debate, Brahmana and Vaishnava. There is a book also, the essays compiled. Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur had based his work on Bhaktivinoda Thakur's work. Bhaktivinoda Thakur has written what are the qualifications of a Brahmana, Vaishnava. there were three, this was a debate because Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati, see this is 100 years ago, there was so much of opposition that Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati received due to starting practices which were not conventional. So the caste Goswamis, the caste Brahmanas, heavy opposition he faced. Srila Prabhupada also faced opposition, but nothing like what Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur got in this regard. Because at that time, Indian society, the caste system was very much prevalent. And you can see the Srila Prabhupada in some of the purports, he mentions that it was never a caste system. It was always Chaturvarnam Maya Shrishtam Guna Karma Vibhagasha. He says it's always based on guna and karma. It's based on qualities. It's not based on Janma Karma. It's not based on birth. But then this system, it was exploited by some of the Brahmanas who wanted, for their own greed, they wanted to exert some power and control. They exploited the system, and as a result, everybody's faith in the system finished. And what is left is practically a perverted version of that original Varnashram system within the country. Brahmanas giving up their duties. It's interesting, in one purport, Prabhupada mentions about how in Daksha Prajapati section, what happens is there is cursing and counter cursing. What happens there is, because Daksha, he arrives at the arena and everyone gets up except Brahma and Shiva. Daksha goes to Lord Brahma, who is his father, and he offers his respects. But to Shiva, Lord Shiva is such a great personality, but because he is married to Daksha's daughter, Daksha feels he is my son-in-law. And then Daksha feels offended that Shiva doesn't get up when I came there. And then he says, I am not speaking out of envy. But then he blasphemes Lord Shiva. It's quite contradiction, very ironical. He says, I am not speaking out of envy, but then he blasphemes Lord Shiva like anything. And then listening to that, the followers of Lord Shiva, headed by Nandi, become so upset that Nandi, he curses the followers of Daksha, who are led by Brigu and all these Brahmanas, who allowed this to happen. So first Daksha curses Lord Shiva. He curses that Lord Shiva will never get a part in the sacrificial oblations. He'll never get a share. And that we can see whenever we perform yajna, then Lord Shiva is not included. Of course, our acharyas mention it that it's good because Lord Shiva is not just an ordinary demigod. So he doesn't need to be given just another share that is given to the demigods. But then this offends Nandi and the followers of Lord Shiva, that they curse Brigu and the other Brahmanas present there, that these Brahmanas, they will lose transcendental knowledge. They will lose Divya Gyan. They will lose their Shakti. And contaminated by greed, they will lose their position. And they will fall down. In this way he is cursing. And of course Brigu and the other Brahmanas there, they counter curse Nandi and the other followers also of Lord Shiva. So what does Brigu and the other Brahmanas, what do they curse? They curse that the followers of Lord Shiva will be heretics. They will be upstarts. They will give up Vedic culture. They will get into intoxication. In this way, there was cursing and counter cursing. Srila Prabhupada mentions in one purport that you see the Kali Yuga Brahmanas are basically, they are products of this curse that Nandi gave, wherein they have lost their position. Srila Prabhupada, in so many of his purports, he mentions about the qualities of Brahmanas. Of course, all throughout the Vedic literatures, the glories of the Brahmanas are mentioned. In fact, Srila Prabhupada mentions that even if one wants to be successful in chanting the Gayatri mantra, this is some practical, there's so much of practical personal application also in Srila Prabhupada's purports. He says that if one wants to be successful in chanting the Gayatri mantra, only then he can enter into the transcendental position of the Lord, and then one must therefore acquire Brahmanical qualities or perfectly be situated in the quality of goodness in order to chant this Gayatri mantra successfully. and then attain to the stage of transcendently realizing the Lord. So what is this goodness? So when our actions, in a day-to-day basis, are governed by the mode of goodness, free from passion and ignorance, and when we are situated as such, then you can see that such nice qualities also develop. Such nice Brahminical qualities develop. Shamodamastapa shaucham kshantirarjam evava jnanam vijnanam astikyam brahma karma svabhavajam. Qualities of peacefulness. Who can be peaceful? How can one be peaceful when the mind is constantly bombarded by material desires? When the mind is constantly bombarded by thoughts of wherein we are planning what we will do next. How is it possible? So this peacefulness is a very special quality. Likewise, self-control, austerity, purity, tolerance, honesty, knowledge, wisdom, and religiousness. These are the natural qualities by which brahmanas work. So, in our Krishna conscious life, in our lives as sadhakas, we are on the pursuit of endeavoring to develop these qualities. Of course, yasyasti bhaktir bhagavati akinchana sarver gunes tatra samasute sura harava bhaktasya kuto mahatgana manorathe nasti dhavato bahi. So just when we practice devotional life, then of course all the good qualities of the demigods, which are all these Brahminical qualities, also develop, which is a byproduct also, certainly. At the same time, living in a community, just like here we live at Sridham Mayapur, we live in a devotional community. This is such an extraordinary advantage, because here even the children who grow up, they are only able to see devotees everywhere. For those of us who've come from communities outside, there is always a struggle wherein we have to identify whom to associate with, whom to give our association, being careful from those who are envious, trying to protect ourselves. But how amazing it is that in a community like here, what we have in Sridham Mayapur, almost 7,000 to 10,000 devotees residing here, we have that opportunity to practice these qualities. Just like Srila Prabhupada always emphasizes on Trinadapi Sunechena Taroreva Saishuna Amarena Manadena Kirtaniya Sadahari. So then, yes, these four qualities are so important in our spiritual life that we want to cultivate and develop. Tolerance, not expecting respect, giving respect, and humility. But where are we going to practice these qualities? They are going to be practiced in Bhakta Sangha. And when we have that opportunity to practice this, it is actually a great boon. Now the question is, then how do we do this? Actually, Srila Prabhupada, so many places he mentions that this mission and his movement is to create leaders, those who are Brahmanically minded people. And within our society, the more we devote ourselves to spiritual culture and to Brahminical culture and to develop these qualities, to practice them, then what happens is that we are able to create a community of devotees who live on higher values and higher principles. If we are more and more successful in our communities, where we are able to do something like that, create this kind of a culture and create communities wherein higher values and principles, these qualities are what are actually considered to be important. Just like Prabhupada in one purport, he mentions the brahmana means that he has a special quality of forgiveness. A brahmana is beautiful when he forgives. Just like personality, those who are Kshatriyas, courage and valor, taking risks, this is what makes them also beautiful. In the same way, for brahmanas, it is forgiveness. So the more we are able to practice these qualities within communities, it becomes so much inspiring. What is spiritual life? It is actually, we get inspired. And inspiration comes when we see practically qualities which are being practiced. We feel inspired by our spiritual master because we see that he is an embodiment of those Vaishnava qualities. we feel inspired on hearing the pastimes of Srila Prabhupada because we see that he is such an embodiment of such wonderful qualities. In this purport, Srila Prabhupada goes on to mention about how the spiritual master, he mentions the spiritual master, how he is transcendental, and how it doesn't depend on which varna or whether he is a Brahmin or not. It just depends whether he knows the science of Krishna. Once, George Harrison, he asked this question, how do I know who is a genuine guru? And then he got the reply that you must check who is most addicted to Krishna. So who is most addicted to Krishna? So the one who knows the science of Krishna, the one who has realized Krishna. So the more we practice these principles, then only ISKCON will not remain an outreach movement. Otherwise, we do put a lot of emphasis and energy in outreach, and we reach out to new devotees. They come, but when they come inside, then what do they see? Do they see? Are we actually creating a community for them, wherein they feel inspired to progressively take up the process and surrender more and more? And that will only happen if we do it ourselves. So the mindset has to be one wherein we see everything as an opportunity to practice the qualities of spiritual life that Srila Prabhupada has given us. So there is this famous verse, Kirata hunandra pulinda pulkasha abhira shumbhaya vanaka sadaya yanye chapapaya da pashraya shraya shudhyanti tasmai prabhavishnave namaha. So this is very interesting because in this verse, not only does Srila Prabhupada mention about how this purification process happens, it mentions about all the personalities, in the different parts of the world, who when take up this process of Krishna consciousness are completely transformed. And in this, Srila Prabhupada gives from the Mahabharata a description about all these different races. He says Kiratas are the original aboriginal tribes of India. Then he says Huna. Huna are the area of East Germany and part of Russia. Andhra is by the same name today also, down south. Pulinda, so Srila Prabhupada explains, these are the Greeks. Abhira, he says this is near the Sindh region, near the river Saraswati. In fact, it is, Prabhupada also mentions that it is predicted that the Abhiras will also rule over India. They will also rule over at one point, which happened, in the history. We know the Mughals came and they ruled. Then Shumbha. Shumbha are the inhabitants of the Kanka province of old Bharata. And then Yavanas. So Yavan was the son of Maharaj Yayati. So these are Turks from Turkey. And Khasa. Khasa are, this is from China and Mongol. Prabhupada specifically mentions the names of these countries, names of the inhabitants, and he says that how in this particular verse it is mentioned that all these races also, they are also purified. Shudhyanti tasmai prabhavishnave namaha. And the example that he gives is that just like a bell metal is turned into gold when mixed with mercury in an alchemical process, so in the same way, one who is properly trained and initiated by a bona fide spiritual master, immediately he becomes a brahmana. Yes, that's the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. Yatha kanchanatam yati kamsam rasa vidhanataha tatha diksha vidhanena dvijatvam jayate nrinam. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, in his pastimes, he exemplified this principle through the life of Srila Haridas Thakur. Haridas Thakur was born in a Muslim family. He himself considered himself to be most abominable. Mahaprabhu glorifies Haridas Thakur in the most amazing way in the pastime of his departure at Puri. So it starts in this way that once Govinda, he goes with some Mahaprasad to Haridas Thakur at Siddhabakul. Haridas Thakur is lying down there and he's chanting the holy names. And then when he sees that Govinda has brought some Mahaprasad, he says, Govinda asks, what are you doing? He says, I haven't finished my quota of chanting. But when he sees that Mahaprasad has arrived, he takes a little bit and he honors. Govinda goes and informs Mahaprabhu that Haridas Thakur is not well. When Mahaprabhu comes there the next day, he's seeing Haridas Thakur in that position. He's lying down. He's chanting the holy names. And he says, Haridas Thakur, how are you feeling? And he says, I am not feeling well at all. I am so abominable. I am not able to chant my quota of rounds. I am not finished with my prescribed number of rounds. Srila Prabhupada, he mentions in this purport that a person who does not finish is not able to maintain his quota. His quota of chanting his prescribed number of rounds is in a spiritually diseased condition. He says he's in a spiritually diseased condition. Now, what is the solution if one is in a spiritually diseased condition? Actually, that's why Srila Prabhupada has instituted the morning program in every temple we go. Just we go with the devotees and just follow that process and program. Automatically, it's like a train. You just get in with the others. This in Mumbai we have these local trains, and they are very famous because they're so crowded. They're so crowded that you don't need to endeavor extra to get inside them, because there's so much crowd at the platform. If you just go and stand in between the people, as soon as the train arrives on the platform, the way people rush inside is that automatically you will be inside. You just need to figure out and maneuver your way when you want to come out. Because when you want to come out, that you have to figure out the timing, because 3 stops before you want to come out is when you have to start preparing. Because there's so much of crowd around, you have to push your way through, keep talking to each person and then move a little ahead. So that finally, when you're just about to reach your stop, you are there amongst all the people who are also going to get down at that stop. And then what will happen? As soon as they all get down, voila, you are also there at the platform. You also got down. So in the same way, we have this the whole program is designed in such a way that it helps us in this way, even if we are in a spiritually diseased condition. So now Haridas Thakur mentioning that he is in a spiritually diseased state is nothing but his humility. And Mahaprabhu says, Haridas, you don't need to chant this much. Haridas, you have already, the purpose for which you took incarnation is already fulfilled. You do not need to chant. Lower your number of rounds. And Haridas Thakur, out of all humility, he is begging Mahaprabhu, please do not tell me this. He says, I have one desire. And Mahaprabhu says, what is that? He says, now the purpose of he says, I am no help to you whatsoever now. My only desire is that I live looking at your lotus-like face, with your lotus feet embraced on my chest. Chanting the holy names, I wish to leave my body. He says, this is my desire. Mahaprabhu says, what are you saying, Haridas? You want to leaving me behind? And Haridas Thakur says, my dear Lord, what difference will it make if an insignificant person like me leaves? You have so many thousands of devotees who are ready to follow your instructions, who are assisting you already. If an ant leaves, what difference it makes to this creation? In this way, Haridas is requesting Mahaprabhu. Now, Mahaprabhu, he leaves. He comes back the next day with all the Vaishnavas. He tells the devotees to start chanting. Vakreshwar Pandit is there, he's dancing. Swarup Damodar is there, he's leading the kirtan. All the other associates of Mahaprabhu's are also there chanting and dancing. And there Haridas Thakur, he goes and takes the dust of the lotus feet of all the Vaishnavas who are present there. And then Haridas Thakur, he takes Mahaprabhu's lotus feet, embraces them to his chest. And he is looking at Mahaprabhu's lotus-like face. And then chanting the holy names, he leaves. And the kirtan then swells up. Mahaprabhu indicates that kirtan should go faster. And all the devotees are chanting enthusiastically, ecstatically. Mahaprabhu himself picks up Haridas Thakur and he starts dancing. And looking at Mahaprabhu dancing in ecstasy, all the devotees become even more ecstatic. And in this way, they are celebrating the passing away of Haridas Thakur. Mahaprabhu himself, they are dancing, this kirtan is going on so nicely. Everybody is so much immersed in ecstasy. Swarup Damodar says, now let us go and conduct the final rites. So they all go from Siddhabakul to Puri beach. They go towards the sea in a kirtan procession with Mahaprabhu carrying, of course they made a palanquin and they put Haridas Thakur there. And Mahaprabhu is dancing ecstatically and they move towards the ocean. On reaching there, Mahaprabhu personally bathed the body of Haridas Thakur with the water. And then Mahaprabhu declared, anybody who takes bath here in this water is sure to receive the mercy of Lord Krishna. Mahaprabhu himself used to take bath there. But not for that. He says that because this water has bathed Haridas Thakur. Mahaprabhu personally was bathing Haridas Thakur. All the devotees there were taking the remnant water and then sprinkling on themselves. So that place has become a tirtha. Mahaprabhu, after bathing Haridas Thakur, he himself starts digging the Samadhi area. No shovels, nothing. He himself starts digging the Samadhi area of Haridas Thakur with his own hands. Other devotees help him. And then finally they lower the body down. And Mahaprabhu, he himself puts the garlands, puts sandalwood paste, which is Jagannath Ji's Maha, on Haridas Thakur. Himself, he puts the sand also on Haridas Thakur's body. In this way, he leads the entire ceremony. The devotees come out of the pit. They take bath in the ocean. And then Mahaprabhu goes towards the town of Puri. And there he is asking all the shopkeepers to give Jagannath Prasad in honor of the great Vaishnava Namacharya Shri Haridas Thakur passing away. So Mahaprabhu himself is going and begging. And seeing this, Swarup Damodar and the others, they feel very shameful. The shopkeepers are giving so much. Swarup Damodar, he tells Mahaprabhu, you please go and relax, you please go and take rest. We will manage this. We will collect enough prasadam to feed everyone. So all the associates of Mahaprabhu, they go from shop to shop, collect so much of Mahaprasad. To the point that Swarup Damodar has to tell, just give a little bit. Don't give baskets and baskets. This will be enough. So in this way, they collect so much of Mahaprasad. Mahaprabhu himself is waiting to serve. He goes on and he starts serving all the devotees who are present there on this special occasion of Haridas Thakur passing away. He himself is going and serving. And then Swarup Damodar comes and tells Mahaprabhu, my dear Lord, if you don't sit and honor, nobody will start eating. So you please come and sit. So then Mahaprabhu, he is made to sit there and he starts honoring prasad. Meanwhile, he is still giving directions. He is telling, give more to this devotee, give more to this devotee. It is said that when Mahaprabhu was serving himself, his one handful was enough to fill 5 devotees. It was enough to satiate 5 devotees. That much he was, so much he wanted to feed the devotees. That was Mahaprabhu's enthusiasm. In this way, they had such a wonderful festival. At the end of this, Mahaprabhu and the other devotees, they get up. And then Mahaprabhu declares that anybody who has participated in this festival of Namacharya Haridas Thakur passing away, anybody who has heard the kirtan, anybody who has taken bath in the waters, anybody who has participated, they are sure to receive Krishna's mercy. It is amazing to see how our acharyas mention that how Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, in order to fulfill the desire of Haridas Thakur, was ready to undergo so much of suffering and of separation. Because when Mahaprabhu, after this program, he returned back to Gambhira, he was constantly feeling the pangs of separation from Haridas Thakur. When Haridas Thakur first said that, Mahaprabhu, please allow me to pass away while you are still present here on this planet, the Mahaprabhu at that time replied to him that, Haridas, you are the reason I am here. It is your association that I cherish, because of which I am here. If you go, then what is the purpose of my staying? So Mahaprabhu, in order to fulfill the desire of his devotee, Haridas Thakur, he undertook the pain of separation from him. So this is one personality, Haridas Thakur, who comes in this category that Srila Prabhupada mentions. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gave Haridas Thakur the name of Namacharya, the Acharya of the holy name. Although, and thus he set an example that even if somebody comes from whatever family he comes from, it is irrelevant, because he has taken to the process unconditionally. And this we see now in 50 years of ISKCON, more than 50 years of our society, we see that how Srila Prabhupada, he went to the West and he was able to inspire this Bhakti Lata Bij in so many devotees worldwide who came from very different backgrounds. There was one in this connection, Crazy Peter. Is a very famous amongst the Prabhupada disciples, Kushakrit Prabhu, Crazy Peter. So, Vishoka Prabhu, Prabhupada disciple, he writes about Kushakrit Prabhu, and so does Giriraj Maharaj. They mention about how Peter, right from childhood, was a very eccentric personality. He was an artist by nature. And he was a little aloof and indifferent from people around him. So many times people used to insult him, even as a child. Other boys used to insult him. He didn't really mind so much. He was a little bit of an avadhuta, not paying so much of attention to the way he dresses, not paying so much attention of what he ate, how he ate. He joined this movement. He joined way back in the early 70s. And when he joined, this was in Boston. So Satswarup Maharaj happened to be the temple president at that time. And Peter used to lie down at the entrance. He used to lie down, eating, sleeping, reading, everything he used to do there. So what was happening was, anybody who used to come there, who used to enter the temple, they used to first see Peter there, lying down. So it was not a most palatable sight, and therefore the temple management, they felt that do something about this. So they used to call him Crazy Peter. And they actually complained to Srila Prabhupada that, you see, how he's only lying down all the time. So Srila Prabhupada replied back, what is the problem? Why can't you tolerate him? This is all Prabhupada said. Can't you tolerate him? In fact, even at that time, Giriraj Maharaj, he was also a part of that yatra, and he had asked this to Prabhupada. And Prabhupada had replied back, can't you tolerate him? Giriraj Maharaj mentions that after many years, when he went back to America, he saw this devotee, he saw Peter. And he asked the other devotee, who is this? And they said, he is Kushakrit Prabhu. And Kushakrit Prabhu was very famous because he was famous for translating so many of the Acharya's works from Bengali and Sanskrit into English. And so, it was this Crazy Peter who later on became Kushakrit Prabhu. Kushakrit Prabhu, during Srila Prabhupada's time, he joined the Radha Damodar bus party. And then he was engaged in traveling Sankirtan. After that, he joined BBT Sanskrit department with Gopi Paranthan Prabhu and others. And there they undertook the monumental task of translating Acharya's books. So many books by Srila Jiva Goswami, by Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. And the final one he took up was Gopal Champu. And so he translated all these books. And he was so absorbed in that, that many times he didn't used to care about personal appearances or prasadam, etc. So absorbed he became. And we all know that a work like this is so Brahmanical, translation work, writing books, and to become absorbed in that. So from how Crazy Peter, how he became Kushakrit Prabhu, that is nothing but the miracle that Srila Prabhupada created, that Srila Prabhupada made, which is actually testimony to this verse. So Kushakrit Prabhu's life is very much of an inspiration, that how somebody from such a background can then take up such a responsible service and contribute in such amazing ways. And that is the miracle that this movement and this process of Bhakti Yoga creates. And especially by the chanting of the holy names. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So we end here. Any questions or comments? Okay. Granth-raj Srimad Bhagavatam ki. So something, okay, please.
Hare Krishna, can you explain how, for example, receiving Brahma Gayatri, we chant mantras to purify ourselves, but we also need to be qualified or pure to receive the mantras. So what is the logic there? Why is not everybody? What is the connection with the qualification and the effect of the mantra that is purifying? If it's a clear question.
Is the question related to the effect of Gayatri Mantra or the effect of...
Yeah, especially for Gayatri Mantra.
Especially for Gayatri Mantra.
Because this is for Brahmana initiation.
Yes. So the question is that what is the effect of purification that the Gayatri Mantras have?
In connection with that person already needs to be to some extent qualified to receive them.
Okay, in connection with the qualification required for a person to receive. Yeah. Okay. I'd like to request some senior devotees to answer. His Grace Radhesham Prabhu is here. Prabhuji, if you'd like to please answer something, shed light on this topic.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. I would like to hear from you also, Prabhu. We are running a Gurukula here, and so many children you are teaching. As far as I know, when one is controlled by the instruction of Brahmana who gives him the Brahman Diksha, there is one verse in Bhagavatam which says, Yatha gavo nasi protas tantyam baddascha namabhihi. There is a verse which says that just like a bull is tied with a rope in the nose and it is controlled by that. In the same manner, we are controlled by the Guru. The disciple is controlled. So although the disciple may still not have acquired full mode of goodness, still one may be having passion and ignorance. When a Guru gives the Gayatri Mantra Diksha and gives a sacred thread, then one is supposed to stick to the 3 times Gayatri Mantra performance and also stick to the pure Brahminical standard, because in the Bhagavad-gītā, 11th canto, Lord Krishna is telling Uddhava, Svabhava Vijayam Shauryaha, he says. Svabhava Vijayam Shauryam. The real heroism is to conquer the lower nature, he says. So Brahmanas, Kshatriyas, Vaishyas, all of them have their higher nature and lower nature. The Brahmanas' lower nature is to make unnecessary Vitandavad arguments. Kshatriya's lower nature is to mishandle women and power and like that. Vaishya's lower nature is to not give charity but to enjoy sense gratification. So when we are taking Gayatri from a Guru, the Guru's instruction subdues our lower nature, and we agree to follow the instruction of Guru to follow the Gayatri. And then when we do this, then the purification takes place by that. And by that, for example, Guru says, be punctual in worshipping the deity, be clean, be sober in your speech, don't behave like a choir's fool. So all these instructions are there. If I agree to follow this instruction despite my lower nature and accept the Gayatri, then I attain mode of goodness which becomes favorable for chanting Hare Krishna.
Yes. This behind.
Hare Krishna. Prabhu, Srila Prabhupada mentioned in this purport about like mouth and then belly, hand, but at the same time he's saying we should not, let us say, think that this is higher and this is lower. But in practicality we see, like in India especially, Brahmanas think that they are very higher, and as Brother Shyam Prabhu told. So how to, let us say, minimize this mentality in ourselves, or let us say in society also?
Well, the simple thing is that for ourselves, our mindset is Gopir Bhartur Padakamalyor Das 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 Anudas. That's our mindset, is I am the servant of everyone, right? So just like one Srila Prabhupada was asked, when Srila Prabhupada, he was giving class, and then he was mentioning about the 4 varnas. And then somebody in the audience, he said, so you are the first class person? And Srila Prabhupada said, no, I am the 5th class. So that's basically our mood, is that we are servants of everyone. In one purport, Srila Prabhupada also mentions whether one is Brahmanically inclined or whether he is a dishwasher. It doesn't matter, because in this mission, in this movement, all are making progress. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, by his personal example, he showed the example of how menial service, performing menial service, of serving prasad, especially in this pastime of Haridas Thakur, of how he is performing the most menial of all services, enthusiastically. And that is because our whole goal is to satisfy Krishna and Sri Guru, and that's how they become satisfied. Our goal is not to become Brahmanas. Prabhupada says one place, Brahmana is also a first-class prisoner. He also says he is a first-class prisoner. So our goal is not there. Our big goal, of course, is to become Vaishnava. And there is a higher understanding. The higher understanding is that the Vaishnava is the topmost Brahmana. So that's our goal.
So like while serving as a Brahmanica, let us say Brahman in society, this consciousness develop, oh, I am higher, I am doing deity worship, I am this, I am that. So how to, let us say, come by doing menial service? Or
by constantly remembering that we are servants of the Vaishnavas, constantly cultivating that mood that we are servants of the Vaishnavas. So then that's how practically we can overcome pride. that comes. Yes. Always being in that mode, focusing on the goal. So we'll end here since time is up. Granth Raj Srimad Bhagavatam ki, Srila Prabhupada ki, Nitai Gaur Premanande.